Hey, what's up? It's Jen. I had to reshoot my surfing video because I wanted to be more accurate since my first video with Skateboarding Street had a lot of inaccuracies, and I apologize for that. So I'm hoping this one will be much better, even though it's coming in super last minute. They rescheduled surfing so that we get the semis and the finals on the same day as the quarterfinals. Semis are going down right now. I did see something about how finals are rescheduled on the Olympic website. I don't know if they mean that they've been rescheduled today or they're going to reschedule it to some other day because there is a storm going on. Storms are good for waves, but obviously, when it's really bad, it's not great for anybody out there. That being said, I have no idea what the TV schedule is going to be like as a result. Best bet, if you're in America, check out NBCOlympics.com, and it's a little bit difficult to kind of find what's going on because they'll sneak in surfing to the daily recaps. But if you kind of poke around, and I think you can sort by sports, so it'll kind of tell you when they're going to show the replays. But there's always, if you have access to a cable provider, you can always do the live stream and the replays of that. So, let's see. To get started, they picked 20 competitors for men's and 20 competitors for women's from the World Surf League Championship Tour, as well as the ISA World Games. I think it's the same rule as you have to have one athlete per continent, excluding Antarctica, but surfing is actually pretty diverse, so you've got a lot of competitors from all over the world. Since basically this past weekend, the heats have been going on, and the heats are a little complicated, but I'm going to try to explain how it goes. So, first heat, it's round one. Or not first heat. So, round one, which consists of 5 different heats with 4 surfers each. That's where you have 4 people out, kind of everybody takes turns picking waves in the course of 30 minutes. The top 2 from round 1 automatically go to round 3. The bottom 2 have to surf round 2, and round 2 consists of 5 surfers. So they kind of put all the bottom 2 surfers together, so you have 5 people out in the ocean. This is highly unusual because a lot of surfing is head-to-head, and so it's a little chaotic, but it also means that wave choice is going to be even more crucial. As I said, 30-minute heats. You can get up to 25 waves max, so that not one person is hogging all the waves. And then the judges score on a scale of 0.1 to 10. They take your 2 highest scores to make a total, and that's how they decide. So once we get to round 3, you've got the top 2 from round 1 plus the top 3 surfers from round 2. So then you get pairs off. Sorry, it's a little complicated. I'll show a diagram to kind of better illustrate this. But starting in round 3 is where you go head to head, and seeding is based on your scores from the previous rounds. So you can actually get like what happened with the men's, where you have an American surfer going up against an American, and so you're only going to get one American surfer, and that turned out to be Kolohe Andino. John Florence was one of the favorites, but he's been coming off an injury. Kolohe has actually been coming off an injury too, but just Kolohe surfed better, so he went on to the quarterfinals. So quarterfinals, you go head to head. Winner of those goes to semis, to finals, and finals are you have the top two from the semis going head to head for gold, but then you have another head to head competition for third and fourth place. The judges, so I'm not familiar with judge surfing. I used to watch a lot of surfing when I was a teenager, but I never followed like what the moves are called, like how to judge. So I'm not as familiar with this, but I think it's kind of similar to skateboarding where you don't necessarily have to know all the details. You kind of just have to look at, okay, what looks really risky and dangerous, like, what's a huge move, and what looks good when they pull it off. Like, it's very aesthetically pleasing. I think if you only have like two takeaways, is just think about like the riskiest maneuvers, like somebody just charging in, and then like, can they make it look good? Like, they're doing the hardest thing, but they make it look easy. Like, that's basically, what judging is based on. But the actual defined categories are, number one, commitment and degree of difficulty. So commitment means you are going after the wave. They know that you are keeping an eye out for like what's a good wave, so you snag that opportunity, and then you go and you do the hard tricks. You don't hold back. Two, innovation of your maneuvers. So you're not always there is such a thing as turning in surfing, so sometimes you can go one way, sometimes you can go another. What I forgot to mention in my street skateboarding video, which applies to surfing as well, is that everybody has their own natural stance favoring a certain foot. So if you're regular stance, you favor your left foot forward. If you're goofy, you have your right foot forward. So that kind of determines whether you'll turn clockwise or counterclockwise. And instead of calling it that, we have what's called front side, where you turn and your body is facing the wave, I believe. I know that's how it is with skateboarding, but I forget if surfing is backwards or not. But I think that's where front side is where you turn with your front facing the wave, and then back side is where you turn kind of away from the wave. And depending on which foot you have forward, it's gonna depend on like which direction it is for you. So the judges all know like every athlete's like foot placement, and probably they're used to seeing who favors what direction. So going back to categories, innovation, you want to do tricks that not everybody can do, and that's kind of connected to number 3, variety of maneuvers. Like, you don't always just kind of want to, go like this the whole time. Like, you want to, try to throw in a 360, or, even try to get barreled. I don't know if barrels happen during this time of year. It's off season for surfing in Japan, but, maybe you do. Fourth item is the combination of your major maneuvers. So, can you link a couple of maneuvers if possible? That's going to depend on the wave you pick. But, that's always a plus if you can do more than one thing. And then lastly, speed, power, and flow. So just, your athleticism. So the maneuvers and some surf terms. So I mentioned a barrel, and the barrel is, if you've ever seen surfing footage and like the wave kind of curls over the person, that's a barrel. It's usually with like really large, powerful waves, so I'm not sure you're going to see that here, but maybe you do. Obviously, turns are what you do on the wave. A floater is where you ride on top of, on the lip of the wave, so it's kind of like what you see in illustrations, where the surfer is kind of on that foamy part of the wave. You'll hear carve, and so that's kind of going around the wave. It's kind of like a big turn. And then you have the sudden turn, which is called a snap or a slash. And a good way to kind of know that that's happened is if you see water just spray out from the back of the surfer because, you know, they've suddenly changed direction. So, you know, that requires a lot of control and a lot of speed. You can do 360s on a wave. Don't know if you'll see anything more than that. Kickflips are possible. I don't think you'll see them because they're not quite popular in competitive surfing. There's a category called aerial surfing that so some people specialize in kind of the more skateboarding type maneuvers in the air. That's not usually something that is featured in what's here in the Olympics, which is competitive shortboard surfing. And then you have an alley-oop, which is in that case, you're usually doing a 360. You're spinning the opposite way you're going, so you're kind of fighting physics. So, you know, naturally you want to go, you want to spin the way you're already going. And alley-oop is you're going the other way while, you know, your surfboard is still going in the same direction. So the semis are happening right now. So initially I had a whole list of who made it into the quarters, but we've already found out who's the top four, basically. So the semis for men's is Konoe Igarashi, who is representing Japan. He beat out the American Kolohe Andino, who I thought, you know, may have had a chance to make it in because he's pretty hungry. Gabriel Medina beat out Michel Bourez. Gabriel Medina is a Brazilian surfer, one of the faves to possibly win. He gets some criticism because of, I guess, kind of the lack of variety. He's a very good competitive surfer, though, so I think that's going to benefit him. And he's probably up in my top two most likely to gold medal because he is just that consistent and, you know, he knows what it takes to win. His fellow countryman, Italo Ferreira, is my pick for gold. He beat out the Japanese Hiroto Ohara. Italo, I think he can go through anything. Like, he's got some huge maneuvers, and during one contest, he was almost disqualified because he'd gotten robbed on his way over to the location, and I forget if his flight was delayed or he just got held up, but, you know, he didn't speak the language and just didn't have anything on him. Somehow was able to run to the beach just as his first heat was going to go down. Borrowed a friend's board on the beach and just kind of jumped in there in his jorts and still managed to win the entire contest. So, you know, he can overcome a lot of adversity somehow, you know, and remain cool and calm, and just has the skills to be a gold medalist. And then the fourth surfer to be in the semis is Owen Wright from Australia. He's got a great, like, Olympic story in that he overcame a traumatic brain injury and, you know, had to relearn how to surf, and, you know, now he's gunning for the gold, and he beat out Luca Messinas. Over in the women's, we've got some kind of surprises too. The 7-time world champion Sally Gilmore got knocked out. She's from Australia. Her fellow countrywoman Sally Fitzgibbons is another, like, amazing surfer, also got knocked out. So, you know, we've seen some surprises along the way. We've got South African Bianca Budendag beating out Yolanda Hopkins-Sekeria in the first heat of the quarterfinals. Then we have Caroline Marks, who posted the highest heat score overall for the women's. Caroline Marks she's still a teenager, an up-and-coming star, but really has been, like, doing amazing in the past couple of years. So I think, you know, this could be her chance to shine, since we've seen the youth shine in skateboarding. I think Caroline could do the same with surfing. Her countrywoman, Carissa Moore, who is native Hawaiian, and I'm going to kind of diverge a little bit and talk about how in the WSL, Hawaii gets his own flag to kind of pay tribute to the fact that surfing originated with the indigenous Hawaiians. They tried to get that for the Olympics or even have a separate Hawaiian team. Didn't work, but I think Carissa Moore is still, gonna represent Hawaii despite wearing, the American flag. Maybe you might see, the Hawaiian flag or snuck in somewhere, but she's the pride of America and Hawaii. She's the current WSL champion. The last time the tour happened was in 2016. So, but yeah, and she's a 4-time champion, I believe. She won her first title when she was just a teenager. And if you're familiar with Bethany Hamilton from Soul Surfer, in the movie she has a rival who is a fictional character, but the rival in a way was inspired by a couple of actual contemporaries of Bethany. I don't think they were actually like rivals in the fact that they do actually get along. Like, of course they would compete with each other and surf their hardest, but they actually all got along. But Carissa was one of the people who inspired that fictional character, in that she and Bethany would go head to head when they were teenagers. And then she kind of went through a period where she grew up basically and kind of, married, kind of figured out a nice, essentially, work-life balance for her, and she's back and stronger than ever. So I think she's my pick for women's gold. And then the last person in the semis is Japanese surfer Suzuki Amuro. She beat out Sally Fitzgibbons, which I found a little surprising. I didn't get to see that replay yet, but yeah, obviously the Japanese have shown that they're really hungry, and there is a big surf culture in Japan, so that'll be interesting to watch. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to end here because I want to go watch some live surfing, and hopefully, you'll get a chance to watch the replay or, watch the live and then watch this and kind of better understand what's going on.